Captain Skip. We're on the Twin V 340 GFX, and I'm going to show you how to drive this thing. Let's talk about the Twin V Catamaran hull and how it was designed to get the best ride on the water. The way we're able to capture that is by stuffing air and water down the tunnel. This is accomplished by higher speeds and more trim. Just remember, your thumb control for trim controls both motors at the same time, both up and down. Your pad down here controls each motor individually. This controls your port motor up and down. This controls your starboard motor up and down. Remember, port is left, starboard is right. So the optimal speed on this particular hull, the Twin V 340 GFX, is somewhere between 32 and 38 miles an hour. Also, while operating at this range, you want to have your trim setting as high as possible. Trim this boat all the way up until the motors almost cavitate. And then slightly trim them back down till you hear the cavitation go away. Remember, as we take off, we can start off at approximately 35% trim. When I take off and get it on plane, as I'm taking off, I'm going to trim up like this. From 35 going all the way up to 70. This will give you the most performance, optimizing the tunnel of the Catamaran so that you get the best ride possible. Here's the perfect example of not having enough trim in the boat. You'll see that the water is breaking forward of the console. When you trim this boat properly, you'll see that that spray should be all the way back by the leaning post. Another common question we hear is, why don't Twin Vs have trim tabs? The simple answer is, we don't need them. Our motors act as our trim tabs. If you find that your boat has a slight list to the port because you say have extra people on that side or extra weight, we're leaning towards the port side or left side. The way you're going to fix that is by trimming down on that port motor to level it out. And then I'm going to trim the motors both back up to get that nice optimal ride again. The other thing I want to talk about is what I call oversteering the boat. When the boat dips off and you feel it leaning and you turn too hard and then turn back, you'll see that the boat is listing both very hard to port and starboard. Instead of doing that, you slightly turn into it and let the boat level itself out, just like that. Remember, when you're making a turn with the Catamaran, you're going to pull back on the throttle on the side you're going to turn to. In this instance, we're going to turn to our left. We're going to slow down on our left or port throttle. As we make that turn, the boat will stay flat and turn much nicer. One of the major advantages of a Twin V in maneuvering is that the motors are very far apart, which allows us to spin the boat basically on a dime. If you'll notice, I'm going to put the port motor or left motor in reverse, the starboard motor or right motor forward, and this is going to allow me to spin the boat basically in place without having to use any of the steering wheel at all. These are some of the basic mistakes that people make while driving a Twin V. The more you drive it, the more you're going to love it, the more you're going to get the best ride on the water. Thanks again for watching. I'm Captain Skip. We're out of here.